Welcome to the channel. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. So following on from the latest unboxing video, we are going to be reviewing the Sugess S451 featuring the Jump Hour movement. Recently, there have been lots of Jump Hour watches released on AliExpress from various brands in various styles, and Sugess offers you the S451 in a dress watch style in a number of colors, including a stone aventurine dial. The two I have is a light blue, and I also have the aventurine. Specifications and dimensions will be on screen, and the off-sale retail for these is around £110 and can be as low as £90 in the sales. So the first thing I want to discuss is the movement. This is my first experience with a Jump Hour movement. The most commonly used is the Sugess ST1721. So naturally, I see what I can find and see how it performs, particularly on new movements. And while there is plenty of information on these movements, technical specs on screen, it's actually difficult to find at the lift angle, which doesn't allow you to check 100% accuracy on the time grapher. Now, the two examples I have in hand performed fairly decently. I got a reading of 4 seconds on one and 16 seconds on the other, but both had a very high and healthy amplitude with a very good beat error. Now, in terms of function, I didn't come across any glitches while cycling through the hours. In fact, I went forward and back many times and the hour disc switches over perfectly fine, and it's a very easy movement or complication to get used to. It's exactly what it says. Your central window is for the hour and the large hand is for the minutes, with a sub dial at the 6 for your running seconds. Now, the movement does not hack, but it does hand wind. So in my opinion, I think it's a reliable movement with decent accuracy with no major faults being reported, and from a value for money perspective, it's quite good. So with that out of the way, let's show you the S451 in great detail. First, let's take a look at the case. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that it is a bezel-less case, and for people who aren't used to seeing that, it does look a little odd, and you get a flat, polished surface where the bezel would normally be. But this allows the watch to be quite thin. This one, even with a curved edge mineral glass, comes in at just 11mm, which is great for a dress watch. They've also used an unusual brushing pattern. It's like a sunray pattern with the straight lines going outwards in a sunray fashion on the four corners. It does look brilliant, and the grain is quite soft, and you've got discrete polished bevels which taper up towards the tips of those lugs and blend into that polished finishing on the side of the case. Now, the transition is quite crisp. It's not reflective of the low price point at all, and you'll easily believe this watch could cost a lot more than it does. Now, the crown is also decently sized, functional at 6.5mm with a polished A-face, machined with splines which give you a good grip, and the position of the crown means you get a slight underhang under the watch, which enables you to get your fingernail just to pull out the crown, as it is a push-pull crown. The caseback is a Rolex style caseback with brushing and an imprint of the Sugess logo along with the usual specifications. You'll also see the quick release spring bars on the supplied leather strap that come with the watch. It's a very impressive case considering the very low price point. Now, moving on to the dial, we're going to address the aventurine dial first. I'm a huge fan of aventurine dials. I really like that deep blue purple coloration and of course the sparkle it has. It's a very special material for me, but this version does suffer with practicality. Now, I totally understand the simplistic approach. You've got some high-end watches that offer dials with zero markings, but it's not practical daily, which is why this particular dial option is only going to be occasional, which is fine if you can just take it out for a special event and you want something to really sparkle and stand out. But for me, as you have the white markings on the sub dial, I think really small or discrete mini markings could have been printed on the outer edge just to increase practicality and its usage. Now, another thing I've noticed on the aventurine, while we do appreciate black date wheels, this one is not really that visible. The thickness of the stone dial creates a shadow at certain angles, which means you actually can't see the hour. Here, I think a white date wheel should have been much better due to that jump hour complication. You really do need to see the hour disc. Along with that, the mini hand, while being beautifully designed and polished and looking all elegant, it has legibility issues under lighting conditions. Therefore, if you do consider that captivating aventurine dial, you've got to take all of the above into account and realize it's going to be one of those watches for those particular events. But when we jump over to the other colorways, that all changes and the watches become very practical with no issues on legibility, and they can be worn regularly. This light blue dial jumps out and catches your attention, and it is very detailed. You've got a radial brushed outer ring with printed cursive Arabics, and the whole ring looks to be applied on top of that detailed wave pattern because there's a very thin line separating that and the applied brushed minute track, which not only has the printed dot markers but also has tiny pips of loom at every 5-minute interval. So you definitely get an increase of day-to-day practicality. Now the loom isn't dive watch level, but you can see the minute points and the oversized pip on the minute hand, and I think it would have also benefited greatly with a loomed date wheel if they've already gone in that loom direction. With that you still don't know what hour you're in, but for what they have, it's still quite bright, and they use BGW9, which looks great. Now I've saved the best detail till the end, and that's that central pattern. It's so detailed and intricate. It's really pleasing to look at. It's like a wavy, spirally guilloche type pattern, and I love how they've captured the detail so well. Spiraling looks fantastic, and the waves really stand out on the dial. It gives a sort of a ripple effect, and it really does draw your eye into the center, where just at the 6 you've got that small running seconds sub dial decorated with a thin brushed circular frame. Gives great symmetry to the dial, and to top it off, the blued seconds hand also is capped off, giving a very aesthetically pleasing look. The hour frame is also practically done. Large tapered bevels give you good visibility of the hour disc, and a small curved border with the logo just resting on top. It really is such a gorgeous dial for such a low price. This one really did impress me, and I don't think the AliExpress pictures do it justice. It really comes to life in hand. So in terms of recommendation, I would say go for the color dials for a watch that you can enjoy a lot more. But if you're looking for that one-off piece to special events, aventurine would be the option to go for. Just hope nobody asks you for the time. Now the last thing is the watch wearability on wrist. The dimensions are brilliant. It will suit a range of wrist sizes. The leather strap is also good quality. It is also very supple. Still needs just a tiny bit of wearing in, but it feels nice on wrist. Now on smaller wrist sizes, it sits a little flatter than I would like. The lugs don't downturn as much as I would like, but the short lug to lug kind of balances it out overall. And the bezel-less case did grow on me after a while, and it looks good on wrist. It's a great way to enjoy an odd complication and to show off to your watch comrades. Overall, I haven't seen any major issues or faults with this watch, and just my thoughts on the aventurine dial practically. But other than that, if you want to try a different complication, this design is beautifully done and one of the best jump hour watches out there. So that's it from me today, guys. Let me know your thoughts below in the comment section. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.